All right, UPSC aspirants, welcome back for part 2 of our February 18th, 2025 deep dive into current affairs.
That's right, we're diving back into those key insights you need for those tough exam questions. So grab your notebooks and let's get started.
You know, it's amazing how quickly things move in the world of current affairs. Feels like we just covered this stuff. But a quick review never hurts, right?
Absolutely. Consider this your rapid revision session. We'll be connecting the dots between these seemingly diverse topics, highlighting key themes, and exploring how they might manifest in your upcoming exams.
Sounds good to me. Let's kick things off with some major developments on the international stage. I'm seeing a lot about this India-US Trust Initiative that seems like a big one.
Definitely a headline grabber. This initiative, announced during the Prime Minister's visit to Washington, focuses on boosting collaboration in critical and emerging technologies. Think critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, and advanced materials, all essential for economic growth and, let's be honest, global influence.
Okay, so it's about more than just trade deals and friendly handshakes. This has real implications for India's position on the world stage.
Exactly. It's about securing supply chains, reducing dependence on any single country, and fostering innovation in key sectors. Remember those discussions about critical minerals and their importance in everything from electric vehicles to defense tech. The Trust Initiative aims to tackle those concerns head-on.
So for those of us prepping for UPSC, how does this translate into potential exam questions?
You could be asked to analyze the impact of this partnership on India's economic growth, its role in global supply chains, or even its strategic relationship with the U.S. Think about the potential benefits and challenges of reducing dependence on China for those critical minerals, for example.
Interesting. It feels like the UPSC is all about connecting those dots, right? Seeing how a seemingly isolated event ripples outwards.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the potential essay topics that could emerge. Think about India's role in shaping the future of technology or the importance of strategic alliances in a multipolar world.
Okay, got it. So trust is all the tick on land, but then there's this India-US-Asia initiative, which seems to be taking the collaboration underwater.
Exactly. The ASEA initiative focuses on the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance, all about advancing underwater domain awareness, or UDA for short.
UDA sounds like something out of a spy movie. Break it down for me.
Think of it as using technology to monitor everything happening beneath the waves, submarines, underwater resources, even environmental changes, anything that could impact security or economic interests.
Okay, so it's about more than just keeping an eye on submarines. It's about understanding the entire underwater landscape and how it relates to India's strategic goals.
Precisely. And India is the first country to partner with the U.S. on this initiative, which is significant. It highlights India's growing role in maritime security and its commitment to utilizing cutting-edge technology.
This has UPSC question written all over it. What are some of the key areas we should be focusing on?
Definitely the challenges of implementing UDA in the Indian Ocean region. The technologies involved are complex, the geopolitical considerations are significant, and India's specific role in this evolving landscape is crucial to understand.
Right, so not just knowing what UDA is, but how it fits into India's overall maritime strategy.
Exactly. And you might also be asked to connect UDA to broader themes like the blue economy, maritime diplomacy, or even climate change. It's all interconnected.
Got it. Switching gears a bit, I'm also seeing some news about the Mineral Security Partnership, or MSP.
Yes, the MSP, we've discussed this before, but it's worth revisiting. Remember, it's all about securing the supply of those critical minerals we talked about earlier, the ones essential for everything from smartphones to renewable energy technologies.
And this is where India's interests really come into play, right?
Absolutely, India, with its booming economy and ambitions in sectors like electric vehicles and renewable energy, needs to secure access to these resources. The MSP provides a platform for collaboration with other countries that share similar concerns about mineral security and helps counterbalance China's dominance in this arena.
Okay, so another example of international collaboration directly impacting India's strategic goals.
Precisely, and don't forget, all of this ties back to the India-US Trust Initiative. Both are about diversifying supply chains, reducing dependence on any single country, and positioning India as a major player in these critical industries.
Lots to unpack here for those of us studying for the UPSC.
Absolutely. Now let's shift our focus away from the global stage for a moment and zoom in on a development happening right here in India. The RuTAGe Smart Village Center has just launched in Haryana.
RuTAGE, that sounds like a mouthful. What's the significance here?
It stands for Rural Technology Action Group, and it's all about bridging the gap between cutting-edge technology and rural needs. Think practical solutions for everyday challenges, not just technology for technology's sake.
So how is this different from other rural development initiatives?
This center offers long-term tech support directly at the panchayat level, ensuring that the solutions are tailored to local needs and challenges. They're also focusing on market access for rural producers, connecting them with platforms like ONDC and Amazon to help them reach wider markets and boost their incomes.
That's smart. It's not just about introducing technology, but ensuring it's relevant, accessible, and empowers those who need it most.
Exactly. And this aligns perfectly with other government initiatives like ENAM PM eGidya and the Direct Benefit Transfer Program, all examples of how technology can drive development and improve lives in rural areas.
Okay, so for UPSC prep, we need to be connecting the dots between these various initiatives, right? Showing how they're all part of a larger strategy for rural transformation.
Exactly. Now let's move on to another sector that's crucial for India's economy: textiles.
I'm all ears. What's the latest there?
The Prime Minister has set a bold target to triple textile exports to a whopping Rs 9 lakh crore by 2030.
That's a massive jump. Why is the textile industry such a focus?
The textile industry is one of the largest employment generators in the country. It's a crucial sector for both economic growth and job creation. This target reflects India's ambition to become a global leader in textiles.
Okay, that makes sense. But I seem to remember some concerns surrounding the textile industry.
You're right, the sector does face some structural challenges. Things like expensive raw materials pollution concerns and the need for more diversification.
So it's not just about boosting exports, but also about addressing those challenges to make the industry more competitive and sustainable in the long run.
Precisely. And there are government initiatives in place to tackle these issues. The Mission for Cotton Productivity, announced in the recent budget, aims to boost the sustainability of cotton farming. And the Samarth scheme focuses on capacity building and job creation in the textile sector.
So another example of balancing growth with sustainability and addressing those key concerns that might come up in the UPSC exam.
Exactly. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of science and environment.
Sounds good. What discoveries and concerns have caught your eye?
First up, India's first ever intertidal BioBlitz has just concluded.
A BioBlitz, I have to admit, that's a new one for me. What exactly is that?
It's a citizen science initiative where volunteers come together to document biodiversity in a specific area over a short period. In this case, they focused on the intertidal zone where the ocean meets the land.
Ah, so it's like a rapid biodiversity survey, but with a cool name.
Exactly, and it was a success. They even discovered a flatworm species, Pseudoceras bifascia, recorded for the first time on mainland India.
That's pretty cool. It shows the power of citizen science and the incredible biodiversity that exists in our coastal areas.
Precisely. And for UPSC aspirants, this highlights the importance of biodiversity, conservation, citizen participation in scientific endeavors, and the ever-growing focus on environmental issues in the exam.
Okay, so connect the intertidal BioBlitz to citizen science, biodiversity, and environmental awareness. Got it. What other scientific discoveries have you come across?
Get this, scientists have discovered a new type of brain cell called the ovoid cell. It's been found in the hippocampus, a part of the brain crucial for memory formation.
The brain is such a complex organ, isn't it? I vaguely remember learning to the hippocampus in biology class.
Well, the hippocampus is essentially the memory center of the brain, and these newly discovered ovoid cells seem to play a key role in recognition memory, helping us distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar objects.
So it's like they're the gatekeepers of our memories, deciding what gets stored and what gets filtered out. That's fascinating.
Exactly, and this discovery has huge implications for understanding memory disorders like Alzheimer's. It could potentially lead to new treatments and interventions.
Okay, so this is definitely one for our notes. Connect the ovoid cell discovery to memory function potential treatments for memory disorders and the broader theme of advancements in neuroscience.
Precisely. Now, let's switch gears to a concerning trend observed in the Gulf of Aqaba. Scientists have discovered a pause in coral reef growth during the late Holocene period.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
It's not. Coral reefs are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes, and this pause in growth is likely linked to human activities and climate change. It's a stark reminder of the impact we're having on delicate marine ecosystems.
Right. This highlights the importance of understanding the causes and consequences of climate change and the need for sustainable solutions, classic UPSC territory.
Absolutely.
Okay, so connect this to climate change impacts marine ecosystem health and the broader issue of environmental sustainability.
Got it. Now, before we wrap up this part, tell me about some exciting developments in technology that are shaping the future. What's caught your eye?
Two things, actually. First, IIT Kanpur has developed a remarkable Solar dehydration technology.
Solar dehydration, so harnessing the power of the sun to preserve food.
Exactly. By drying fruits and vegetables using solar energy, farmers can preserve their produce for longer, reducing waste and boosting their incomes.
That's brilliant. It tackles food security, promotes sustainable energy use, and empowers farmers all at the same time.
You got it. It's a perfect example of how technology can drive positive change across multiple sectors. All right, for UPSC prep, I'm seeing connections to sustainable development goals, the push for renewable energy, and the government's focus on empowering farmers. What's the second development you mentioned?
Meta, the tech giant, has unveiled Project Waterworth, the world's longest undersea cable system. It's a massive 50,000-kilometer cable connecting 5 continents longer than the circumference of the Earth.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. What are the implications of such a massive connectivity project?
Think about the impact on digital connectivity, especially in developing countries. Faster and more reliable internet access for millions of people, opening up opportunities for education, economic growth, and social development.
And I'm guessing there are some geopolitical implications as well, right?
Absolutely. This cable could potentially shift power dynamics in the digital realm, giving certain countries or companies greater control over internet access and data flows. It's a development with far-reaching consequences.
Okay, so we've got digital connectivity, geopolitics, and the strategic importance of undersea cables. Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Precisely. And that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into February 18th's current affairs.
We've covered a lot of ground already, but remember, this is just the beginning.
We'll be back with part 2, where we'll delve deeper into some of these topics and explore new ones that could be crucial for your exam preparation.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to The Deep Dive for more in-depth current affairs analysis delivered straight to your ears. We'll see you in part 2.
Welcome back, UPSC aspirants. Ready for part 2 of our February 18th, 2025 current affairs analysis.
You bet. We covered a lot of ground in part 1, from international partnerships to cutting-edge tech. What else is in store for us today?
Well, we're diving into some fascinating developments that might seem purely scientific at first glance, but trust me, they have major implications for your exam prep. Let's start with neutrinos.
Neutrinos. Okay, those are definitely in the realm of physics. But how do they tie into current affairs?
Well, researchers have recently detected high-energy cosmic neutrinos under the Mediterranean Sea. Now think beyond the scientific breakthrough itself. This discovery underscores the importance of international scientific collaborations. These massive detector projects require expertise and resources from multiple countries.
Right, so it's about global cooperation, which we know is a recurring theme in current affairs and something the UPSC loves to ask about.
Exactly. It highlights the need for nations to pool their resources and expertise to tackle complex scientific challenges. Now, here's another layer for your UPSC prep. Neutrinos are incredibly difficult to detect because they rarely interact with matter. They're like cosmic ghosts passing right through us.
So what does this tell us beyond the fact that neutrinos are elusive little particles?
It highlights the limitations of our current understanding of the universe. There's so much we still don't know, so much that remains hidden.
That's actually a pretty profound thought. It makes you realize how much there is to learn and explore.
Exactly. And for UPSC aspirants, it's about cultivating that curious and open mind, which is essential for tackling those complex exam questions and crafting well-rounded arguments.
Okay, so we've got neutrinos, international collaborations, and a reminder to stay curious. What's next on our agenda?
Now, remember those ovoid cells we discussed in part 1, the new type of brain cells found in the hippocampus? That discovery is so groundbreaking that it warrants a deeper look.
Right, the hippocampus, for those who need a quick refresher, that's the part of the brain that's essential for forming new memories.
Exactly, and these ovoid cells seem to be playing a key role in recognition memory, helping us distinguish between objects we've encountered before and those that are new to us. Imagine the implications for understanding memory disorders like Alzheimer's disease.
It's like opening a new door to understanding how our brains work, which could lead to new treatments and interventions for memory-related conditions.
Precisely. This is cutting-edge research that has the potential to revolutionize our understanding of the brain and how we learn and remember.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, remember, we also touched on a concerning environmental trend in part 1, something about coral reefs in the Gulf of Aqaba.
Yes, you're right. Scientists observed a pause in coral reef growth during the late Holocene period, likely linked to human activities and climate change. Now, while the situation is alarming, let's shift our focus to potential solutions.
Okay, so instead of dwelling on the problem, we're going to explore ways to address it. What kind of solutions are being considered?
Well, efforts are being made to reduce pollution and runoff from coastal areas, which can harm coral reef. Researchers are also exploring coral farming and transplantation techniques, essentially creating nurseries for new coral growth.
So a two-pronged approach, mitigating the damage and actively working to restore what's been lost?
Exactly, and creating marine protected areas is another strategy where human activities are restricted to allow coral reefs to recover.
It's encouraging to know that scientists and conservationists are working hard to protect these vital ecosystems. This also ties into a recurring theme we've seen in this episode, the intersection of science, technology, and problem solving. Remember that solar dehydration technology from IIT Kanpur?
Absolutely. That's another great example of how innovation can address multiple challenges simultaneously.
Right, by using solar energy to dry and preserve fruits and vegetables, farmers can reduce waste, increase their incomes, and do it all in a sustainable way. It's a win-win-win situation.
Exactly. And speaking of technology and its wide-ranging implications, let's revisit Project Waterworth, that massive undersea cable project we discussed in Part 1.
Okay, the one spearheaded by Meta that's set to be the longest undersea cable system in the world.
That's right. This project is about more than just laying cables. It's about shaping the digital landscape and influencing the flow of information globally.
Okay, so things are getting geopolitical now. Help me understand the implications.
First, it highlights the growing importance of undersea cables in global communications. These cables carry the vast majority of international internet traffic, making them critical infrastructure.
So whoever controls these cables has a huge influence on the flow of information and potentially even economic and political power.
Exactly. And that's why Project Waterworth is so interesting and potentially controversial. It connects 5 continents and has the potential to reshape digital connectivity, especially in developing countries.
It's almost like a modern-day scramble for Africa, but instead of land, it's access to the internet and data flows.
That's a great analogy, and it's why this is a geopolitical issue. Countries are increasingly aware of the strategic importance of undersea cables and are vying for influence in this domain.
This reminds me of all those discussions about data sovereignty and the need for countries to protect their digital interests.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Okay, so we've got digital connectivity, geopolitics, and potential power shifts in the digital landscape. Definitely a lot to ponder for UPSC aspirants. Now, what about that mineral security partnership? The one aimed at securing access to those critical minerals.
Yes, the MSP, we've talked about it in the context of global supply chains and countering China's dominance, but let's analyze it through the lens of India's specific role and interests.
Okay, so how does India fit into the MSP puzzle?
Remember, India is a rapidly growing economy with ambitions in sectors like renewable energy, electric vehicles, and defense technology. All of these sectors rely heavily on those critical minerals we keep discussing.
So India needs to secure access to these resources to fuel its economic growth and achieve its strategic goals.
Precisely. The MSP provides a platform for India to collaborate with like-minded countries and work towards diversifying its supply chains, reducing dependence on any single nation, and ensuring its own resource security.
It sounds like this ties back to both the India-US Trust Initiative and the AGA Initiative. All of them are about strategic collaborations and positioning India as a major player on the global stage.
You're absolutely right. It's all interconnected. Now, let's shift gears to another crucial aspect of security, maritime security in the Indian Ocean region. Remember the concept of underwater domain awareness, or UDA, we discussed earlier?
Right, UDA using technology to monitor everything happening beneath the waves. Didn't we already cover this?
We did touch on it, but this time let's delve deeper into the challenges of implementing UDA, particularly for India.
Okay, I'm all ears. What hurdles does India need to overcome in this arena?
One major challenge is the reliance on foreign technology. India currently imports a significant amount of its UDA equipment, which can create dependencies and vulnerabilities.
So it's about achieving self-reliance in these critical technologies, a recurring theme in India's strategic thinking.
Exactly. Another challenge is the unique acoustic requirements of the Indian Ocean. The tropical waters and complex underwater topography pose challenges for sonar systems and other acoustic sensors.
So it's not just about acquiring the technology, it's about adapting it to the specific conditions of the region.
Precisely. And then there's the issue of coordination among various maritime security agencies. Effective UDA requires seamless information sharing and collaboration between different agencies, which can be a complex task.
It sounds like a massive undertaking requiring technological expertise, strategic planning, and interagency cooperation. Definitely a complex issue that could easily pop up on the UPSC exam. What else is on our agenda?
Let's talk about a sector that might not get as much attention as technology or international relations, but is nonetheless crucial for India's economy, the livestock sector.
Okay, what's happening in the world of livestock?
The Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying has been working with the World Organization for Animal Health, or WOAH, to promote public-private partnerships in this sector.
Interesting. So why is this collaboration significant?
The livestock sector is a major livelihood provider for millions of Indians and contributes significantly to food security. By partnering with RuTAGe, an intergovernmental organization focused on animal health and welfare, India is tapping into global expertise and best practices to enhance its own livestock sector.
And the emphasis on public-private partnerships aligns with the government's broader push to involve the private sector in various sectors of the economy.
Exactly. It's a trend worth noting for UPSC aspirants. Now remember that ambitious target we discussed earlier, the one about tripling India's textile export.
Right, the goal of reaching Rs 9 lakh crore by 2030, that's a huge leap for the textile industry.
It is, and while we discussed the sector's potential and some of the challenges it faces, let's dig a little deeper into those hurdles.
Okay, remind me what those challenges are.
Well, one major concern is the cost of raw materials. Then there's the issue of competition from other countries, particularly in terms of pricing and efficiency.
Right, and we can't forget about the need for the Indian textile industry to modernize and adopt new technologies to stay competitive on the global stage.
Exactly. It's not just about producing textiles, it's about producing high-quality textiles efficiently and sustainably.
So it's a complex equation with a lot of moving parts boosting exports, addressing cost concerns, competing globally, and adopting new technologies. Definitely a lot to unpack for those of us prepping for the UPSC.
Absolutely. Now, let's end this part of our deep dive with something truly fascinating, the loggerhead turtle.
Loggerhead turtles. Okay, I'm intrigued. How do these amazing creatures fit into our current affairs analysis?
A recent study has revealed that loggerhead turtles can learn and remember the magnetic signature of different geographic regions. They're like living compasses navigating the vast oceans using the Earth's magnetic field.
Wow, that's incredible. It's a testament to the incredible adaptability and navigational skills of these creatures.
Exactly, and it highlights the interconnectedness of life on Earth and the intricate ways in which organisms interact with their environment.
It also reminds us that there's so much we still don't know about the natural world, so much left to discover and understand.
Precisely. And for UPSC aspirants, it's a reminder that even seemingly unrelated topics like animal behavior can offer valuable insights and broaden our understanding of the world around us.
Absolutely. It's about connecting the dots, thinking critically, and appreciating the wonders of the natural world.
Exactly.
All right, UPSC aspirants, welcome back to our February 18th, 2025 deep dive into current affairs. This is part 3.
That's right. And in this final part, we're going to focus on you. How can you use all this information to ace those exams? How can you turn these current events into high-scoring answers?
That's the million-dollar question. So where do we start?
Let's revisit those key themes that we've been discussing throughout this deep dive and talk about how they can translate into exam success. Remember the India-US Trust Initiative, the one focused on collaboration in those critical emerging technologies.
Yeah, definitely a major development. We talked about its potential to boost India's economic growth and its role on the global stage. But how do we connect that to the UPSC syllabus?
Think about those potential exam questions. They might ask you to analyze the impact of this initiative on India's economy or its strategic relationships.
Right, so not just what it is, but what it means.
Exactly. They might even ask you to compare and contrast this initiative with other similar collaborations India's engaged in, like the Quad or the I2U2 grouping.
Oh, that's a good one. It shows you're thinking strategically and connecting the dots.
Exactly. And don't forget about those big picture essay questions. The Trust Initiative could easily be the foundation for a discussion about India's role in shaping the future of technology or the ethical considerations surrounding emerging technologies.
So much to think about.
Right. Now, what about the India-US ASIA initiative, the one focused on underwater domain awareness?
Yeah, that sounds like something straight out of a spy movie.
It kind of is, but it's also serious business for India's maritime security.
So how should we be thinking about this for the UPSC?
Well, think about the challenges of implementing UDA in the Indian Ocean region. The complex technologies involved, the geopolitical factors, and, of course, India's specific role in all of this.
So not just knowing what UDA is, but how it fits into India's overall strategy in the region.
Exactly. And you could even be asked to analyze the potential impact of UDA on India's blue economy or its efforts to combat maritime terrorism. It's all interconnected.
Got it. So many layers to peel back.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's always relevant for the UPSC science and technology.
It was a hot topic.
And this year is no different. Remember those ovoid cells we talked about? The discovery of this new type of brain cell has huge implications for our understanding of memory and could lead to new treatments for memory disorders.
Pretty amazing how much we're still learning about the human brain, right?
Right. Now for the UPSC, think about how this discovery could be linked to questions about advancements in neuroscience or the ethical considerations surrounding brain research. It's all about making those connections.
Okay, so from the depths of the ocean to the complexities of the brain, it feels like we've covered it all.
We've certainly tried, and through it all, we've emphasized the importance of connecting the dots, seeing how seemingly disparate events and developments are actually intertwined.
That's the key, isn't it? Seeing the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And that's what the UPSC is looking for: candidates who can analyze, synthesize, and present information in a coherent and insightful way.
So as you continue your UPSC journey, remember to stay curious, stay engaged with the world around you, and keep connecting those dots.
That's right, because the more you understand how things are connected, the better equipped you'll be to tackle those challenging exam questions.
Well, that brings us to the end of our February 18th Current Affairs Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground-analyzed key developments and hopefully provided you with some valuable insights for your UPSC preparation.
We hope you found this deep dive informative and engaging. And remember, stay curious, stay informed, and keep striving for excellence.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Deep Dive for more in-depth current affairs analysis delivered straight to your ears.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of current affairs. Best of luck with your studies. CATA.